Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about today? I forgot. Oh, we're going to talk about commuting. What you need to know about commuting and how to choose your domicile and make the best decision possible for you, okay? We need to talk about this. And somebody should have made a video about this when I was in training, because I was just playing around, okay? Playing around and just thinking about what I would want my life to be like. Didn't think about any of these factors I'm gonna tell you guys. So before we get started, of course, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. What you waiting on, girl? Our boy, come on. And go ahead and like this video because it's gonna be great. And we're not here to waste your time. I'm here to give you this information so that you can make well-informed decisions if you decide to proceed with becoming a flight attendant, because things get real, as you can see from that last video, where I was sitting in the airport for basically like 2 days waiting to get a trip, and trips were canceling and things like that. That's real life. So yes, there are good things and good perks about being a flight attendant, but you need to know the reality of being a flight attendant as well. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. Okay, remind me to do a video about working AM shift, because even though I'm working AM shift 4 to 4, I have a flight tonight that starts at, the report time is 5:30. And I'm like, I thought I was AM shift. Why am I working a shift outside of my reserve time? Make that make sense? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in another video. Anyways, let's get back to the content of this video. So just to give you guys a little backstory, when I was in training and I had to choose my domiciles, I thought that we just choose one and then, you know, we get that one, or we choose 3, whatever the case may be. No, you rank all of them from basically most wanted to like least wanted. That does not guarantee that you will get the top one that you want. It's based on company needs and availability. Okay, company needs. Remember that, company needs. It is not based on, oh my God, we really like her and she prefers to be in Dallas, so we're gonna give her Dallas because we like her. No, company needs, okay? Company needs change every single day, okay? So don't listen to what your fellow flight attendant in class is saying. Don't listen to these little videos. Don't listen to what gossiping, all that. No, company needs change every day, okay? Get that through your head. That's one thing that you need to get through your head. When I was in training, this was in 2021, it's now 2022. When I was in training, and I was supposed to be in training in 2020, my top 3 choices was Dallas, Houston, and then Atlanta. Then they closed the Atlanta base. So now Atlanta was no longer an option. So now I moved it from Dallas, Houston, and then I believe Seattle was my next choice. Didn't really want to go to Seattle, but I was like, whatever. I know some people in Seattle. I'll just do Seattle. Cool. So no real logic. I was just like, sounds good, sounds cute, I'll go there. And I was basing off, everything was based off of if I know someone that's there, or the weather's nice, or it sounds cute to live in LA, it sounds cute to live in Phoenix, or be commuting to Phoenix, so cute, like I'll do it, okay? No real logic. But I was intending to be in Dallas. Let me just tell you right now, do not base your domicile selections based on who you know at each domicile, okay? That's not smart. That's what I did, and that is not smart. Okay, anyways, so I chose Dallas because I really wanted to go to Dallas, live in Dallas. That's somewhere where I would move to. Houston, I was like, okay, I don't mind Houston. Everything after that was just because whatever. when you choose your domicile, you need to choose your domicile off of these top 3 things, okay? The first thing, your first domicile, even if that's more than one options, your first few options need to be places that you would move realistically to this location within 3 months. Now, technically and realistically, if you applied to be a flight attendant, you signed that bottom line and said that you would move to the domicile that you were assigned within 30 days, okay? We all did it, I did it, whatever. But like, who's about to up and move in 1 month unless you like, I guess, moving out of your parents' house? I don't know. But that's like low-key not realistic. So I'm saying within 3 months, please choose a place that you would pick up and move to. That makes the most sense. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is going to be to pick a domicile, rank your domiciles. After you pick from where you will pick up and move to within 3 months, then you're going to choose from the most accessible to commute. So when I lived in Atlanta and I was commuting to Denver for work, there were about 6 to 10 flights that went to Denver. So basically there's literally no reason why I'm not going to be able to make it to work because there's so many flights to get there in different times. The earliest flight was a 5:30 flight and the latest flight was a 10:30 p.m. flight. So there was ample room to catch a flight and get there, right? Now, if I knew someone that was in Boston, a flight attendant that was in Boston who commuted to Denver. She had to take 2 flights to get to Denver, okay? Now, in a perfect world with perfect weather, with perfect everything, okay, cool, 2 flights. But that is a long day to have 2 flights and then work 2 to 3 flights in a day. Not only that, you're already taking a risk commuting where you may encounter delays, cancellations, whatever it may be. But if I have to deal with that with 1 flight, that's already a little bit hectic. But to have to deal with that for 2 flights is extremely hectic and it makes for a long day. Just imagine flight 1, no delays, but flight 2, a delay or a cancellation or X, Y, and Z, and now you're late for work or like, it's just, that's hectic and it raises your anxiety. I'm all about not raising my anxiety. So for me, I personally could not deal with taking 2 legs to commute to work. If that's something you feel like you can do, cool, but for me, no. From Boston to Denver, that is a very long commute. I think that's like a 4-hour commute. That doesn't sound fun. At 4 or 5 hours, because it's 3 hours from Atlanta. So I think it's about 5.5 hours. That's a long day before you actually start your day. So that's something to think about. And even on that note, I know a lot of you guys are watching other people and other YouTubers who are also flight attendants who are saying commuting is easy, but you need to be mindful and also look at the backstory of these flight attendants, okay? In my case, I was coming from Atlanta. Atlanta is a big city and it is a huge airport with all of the airlines. There's plenty of ways to get to my destination. You don't need to take advice from me and you're in Idaho Falls, or you're in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or you're in some small city that only has 3 or 4 flights a day to go anywhere. Like in total 4 or 5 flights out of the whole day. If you're in a place where you have to take a flight just to get to an international airport, girl, commuting is not for you. That I don't recommend commuting because you already have to take 2 flights just to get to your destination. So you need to be ready to get up and move to where you would like to be based. That's number 1. But I understand that sometimes getting up and moving is like not realistic. So if you have to commute, find a shorter commute. So for every domicile, you're gonna have to take the time to look and see from your home, how many flights does it take to get to each domicile? If it takes one, that's the best option. If it takes two, okay. If it takes three, I do not recommend. I don't recommend at all. So yeah, go from there and look through every single one, and then your next option should be the the most accessible commute. Okay guys, sorry, I was rudely interrupted. I don't know why this lady just came in here to clean, right? She wipes down 2 tables that were really already clean. Like, if you wanted to be in my video, just say that. Anyways, so I lost my train of thought. Okay, let's just move on to the third thing that you need to do. We already talked about first pick your domicile based on the one you would get up and move to, realistically. Second one is going to be the most accessible commute. If it has a lot of opportunities to get to where you need to go, then choose that. And with that being said, okay, that's another thing. A lot of people, they want to be in LA. They want to be LA based. There are way more people that want to be LA based. So you have to think about, yes, even though there may be 10 flights to get to LA is a place where people like to go for vacation. It's a place where, actors, actresses, entertainment people are going out there. So those flights will be full, okay? So you have to be realistic about, okay, am I going to a popular destination? LA is definitely a more popular domicile than Denver, okay? LA is more popular than Detroit. So you want to think about that too. You want to think about those flight loads. Like, okay, you're also going to have to start scheduling your flights to get there on weekdays, because you don't want to have to fly into work on a Saturday or a Friday when the rest all the other people on standby also wants to fly in on a Friday so they can have fun on the weekend, versus you're just trying to get there for work. So that's something also to think about. Are you going to a super popular, fun domicile, okay? Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is a short commute. Yes, there's accessible. So accessible meaning there are about 10 flights to get you there, 5 to 10 flights to get you there. Whether it takes 1 or 2, if you want to make the 2 flights to get there, that's fine. But your next option should be something that is short. So when I say short commute, that means that there may only be 3 flights that go from Atlanta to Detroit, right? But I don't even want to use Detroit, let's use a different one. There may be only 3 flights a day to go from Atlanta to Charleston. Charleston is not a base that is with my company. And that's another thing. Stop asking me what company do I work for. I'm gonna need you guys to put 2 and 2 together when I have my uniform on. And if I have to reveal where I'm working, there will be no more videos. Okay? Thank you. Anyways, back to the tips, because that's what we're here for, the tips. If I'm going from Atlanta to South Carolina, there's only 3 flights a day. It's like, what, a 30-minute flight? That's a short flight. In the event that everything is booked up, I could drive, okay? So you want to choose somewhere where even if all the flights are booked up, you could potentially drive to your domicile, and it's not going to be a 10-hour drive. I feel like whatever you can take. Personally, I don't like driving more than 4 hours. I would not want to commute for a 4-hour drive, but if you can look at all the domiciles and say, hey, I can do a 2-hour drive if all of the flights are booked up, If that's something you can do, definitely do that. So those are like the top 3 things that I would look at personally. And make your selections based off of that, and you'll find way more ease versus just doing what I was doing and just choosing things because it looks good, it sounds good, I can see myself living there, and I don't know nothing else about the place. When it comes to like what's affordable and what's not affordable, I just personally want to get into that because if you're okay with commuting and you're not gonna live there, you don't really need to get obsessed with the fees and the crash pads and hotels because you're not gonna live there. You're gonna commute to work and then you're gonna go back home. So that's why I just feel like find what can work best for you in terms of commuting and make the best choice possible. Of course, if you have friends or family that you can stay with who are reliable, who wouldn't mind you living with them, then yeah, pick a domicile where you could potentially live there. But I would definitely go with those top 3 options first, so you can have the best case scenario and you've really already done the groundwork as to how you can get there and how you can get back. When I was in training, there were a lot of people who wanted to have their own line, which having a line is another conversation for another day. But there were people who wanted to chase the line. So even though they really wanted to be based in Phoenix, they were requesting to be based in Idaho Falls so they can have a line. And then they can have their own schedule ahead of time. Yes, that's a plus to have your own schedule ahead of time. However, you still have to commute to work. So just imagine having your own schedule ahead of time, but you have to take 2 flights just to get to work. That's not fun. Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. And on top of that, there were about at least 10 people in my class who were saying they're gonna choose Idaho Falls just for that specific reason. That's just in my class. So you have to imagine how many people in other classes are also doing the same thing. Yeah, sorry, there's like a lot of people trying to come in this room and it's like no one comes in this room. The minute I start trying to record, people wanna come in here. But I hope this made sense and this is helpful to you guys when you're deciding on what domicile you wanna choose. If you guys need any help or any more tips or need me to explain further, let me know down in the comments. And definitely talk to me and let me know how it goes. Oh, this is what I lost my train of thought because people were coming in. What I was saying about the whole Idaho Falls thing is that multiple people were using the same tactic. So it's like, what are the chances that you're gonna get a line if they don't need, there's a certain number of people that will get a line because they don't need everyone to have a line. So I'm like, you run into that issue where they already met their quota and they don't need anyone to have a line. So now you're stuck in reserve in Idaho Falls. That's one. Then number 2, you're in a place you really didn't want to be. You just wanted to have a line, so you're unhappy. Then you're taking 2 flights, 1 or 2 flights to get to your destination. That's draining. And what's another reason? Oh, and on top of that, because there's 10 people in your class who also wanted to do the Idaho Falls get a line trick, you have to think about everyone else in other classes who also thought that that was a bright idea. So now all of you guys are on the standby list trying to get on that flight to get to work. And not everybody's gonna get on that flight. So yeah, those are like situations that you have to think about. So I definitely would not recommend, going to a base just so you can hurry up and get a line and know your schedule. Like no, you're gonna run into issues with that as well. But that's all I got before I, got distracted. Again, talk to me in the comments. Let me know how training goes. Let me know if this helped you, and also if you are a flight attendant and you have some tips on how to choose your domicile, put that in the comments to help other flight attendants, because this is a community where we can help each other just make well-informed decisions, so we're not out here as a flight attendant using up all of our emergencies because of commuting and not making the right decision when we chose our domicile. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. See you in the next video.